Spencer Rattler is everything that the New Orleans Saints are expecting him to be. This is now a second week with solid tape, and he is doing his best against a well-coached team in the Niners to engineer a win for the Saints. Now, clearly the Saints are a bad football team. Bad teams find a way to lose. Great teams, even good teams, find a way to win. What were your takeaways on this one? If you were even incited about it, you probably only peeked at this because you know I'm a Saints fan and you have enough love in your heart for me, even though you think we're not going to win a game. But go ahead.
I mean, so far we're 2 for 2 on that prediction, so we'll see how the rest of the season pans out. I will say that my biggest takeaway
and I've officially wasted about 7 hours of my life over the last 14 days pouring my time.
That's a good point. I would say my biggest takeaway is I think Mac Jones, and I know it was the Saints, but Mac Jones' ability to be effective, and be efficient, and be productive for San Francisco is proof that what I've been saying about Brock Purdy has been true from day one, which is that he is overrated. Because all you need to be as a quarterback in a Kyle Shanahan offense is competent. And we saw that. Mac Jones, same system, same weapons. I thought he looked sharper.
Same quarterback. He's Jimmy G. He's
more
Brock.
Decisive. I thought he looked slightly more explosive in instances than Brock Purdy. We're talking about 3 touchdowns, nearly 300 passing yards. And again, he was in control. Now, not to say that Brock Purdy isn't these things, but there are no major differences between Brock Purdy and Mac Jones. And so I think when we have conversations about where Brock Purdy ranks, not just in the NFC, but in the NFL amongst his quarterback peers, and then you see a guy in Mac Jones who is the quarterback too and isn't better than Brock Purdy necessarily. I'm not saying that, but what I am saying is if you have a guy in Mac Jones who is a backup, who lost the starting job to Drake May, right? Mm-hmm. And that guy comes into San Francisco and succeeds and does what Brock Purdy probably would have done against New Orleans, that causes me to pause and say, well, is Brock Purdy really the top 15 guy that people say that he is? Is Brock Purdy really one of the 5 to 7 best quarterbacks in the NFC that people say that is? And based on what I saw on Sunday, my answer to that question is no. And so, well, again, I think a lot of it has to do with just I thought a lot of what Mac Jones' success was a product of who and what was around him. I also feel the same way about Brock Purdy. And so if I look at the Niners, and the Niners are just as efficient with Mac Jones in this one game as they were with Brock Purdy last week, I have no reason but to think, well, maybe Brock Purdy is a bit overrated. And now I'm interested to see how the rest of these next, 3 to 6 weeks looks while Brock Purdy continues to recover from his injury. And if Mac Jones continues to remain competent and the Niners are continuing to win football games, the only reason why we would see Brock Purdy play football again this season is because they paid him a huge chunk of change and they need him to.
Yeah. It was crazy to see Mac Jones come out like this, but also it wasn't. And how funny is this? Justin Fields is now a New York Jet when he should have been the number 2 overall pick. When the Niners moved up and ended up taking Trey Lance, it was rumored that Mac Jones was Kyle Shanahan's guy. Yeah. And he just went out and balled in his first start with Kyle Shanahan. Justin Fields came out and balled in his first start with the New York Jets. It's funny how things come around. It's like you see success from Baker now. You see success from Sam Darnold now. Jalen Hurts has been able to come around after having a little bit of an odd start. So it's funny how these quarterback carousels can really come full circle. But yeah, I would argue that the San Francisco 49ers have their next franchise quarterback in Mac Jones if for some reason things might not work out with Brock Purdy, which Brock's on a huge deal. We already understand, but they have not a franchise next quarterback, but they have a duplicate of him in the backup quarterback. Let me pull back the overreaction a little bit because the performance from Mac Jones was nice. It was on a Brandon Staley-led defense who gave up 20 points in the first game, 26 points in the second game. I was never really a fan of this hire. Like the last time we saw Brandon Staley coach for an NFL team before he was New Orleans Saints DC, he was giving up 60 plus to the Raiders. He was being asked if that was his job. And the next morning he was let go and nobody was surprised. And the Saints thought that guy would be good to come in and be their DC. But after the first drive of this game, I felt like I could tell how this game was going to go. Kamara had great touches. Rattler had a deep ball to Rashid Shaheed, one-hand catch. I'm convinced Rashid Shaheed is our wide receiver 1, not Chris Olave. I'm so ready for Chris Olave to go. I see why his brother wants him out of there because Olave just, I question his work ethic. I question his route running. He is always looking to fall down or get out of bounds. He is very brittle on hits. We love serving him up hospital balls. I mean, are we trying to tell him something? Anywho, Olave shells you short on a drop touchdown to open the game. Like you go right down the field against that Niners team and you drop a touchdown. And then Blake Grupe still is employed by the New Orleans Saints. He must have blackmail on Gail Benson or something, because this is another week with another clear-cut chip shot missed field goal in the NFL. He has now missed like a 35 and then a 40-yarder over the first 2 weeks of the season, and he was doing this last year. It's time to let him go. It's time to let him go. The offense clearly clicks, though, when Kamara is the focal point. I mean, no question about that. Alvin Kamara is our best player next to Rashid Shaheed on the offense. But like I said, I'm very convinced that the New Orleans Saints do not have a wide receiver one. And if it is not in Chris Olave. The fact that he's not even able to catch the touchdown pass, I mean, keep his footing on a catch, it was just insane. The Saints come out, 4 flags in the first quarter, but then you have 3 the rest of the game, which is very nice, because in week one, they were flagged 16 times, 13 accepted penalties. You're flagged 4 times in the first quarter, which means you're on pace to be flagged 16 times again. But then you clean it up, only 3 for the rest of the game. Juwan Johnson had multiple drops in this one. Last week, it was huge on flags, and then it was huge this week on drops. Juwan Johnson dropped the touchdown pass last week. Now, he did have a very nice touchdown pass thrown right into his hands by Spencer Rattler. CMC was cutting us up per usual whenever there's a running back like that going up against the Saints defense, ever since the elite Cam Jordan and the David Onyemata and the I don't know, Trey Hendrickson days of stopping up the line, not allowing a 100-yard rusher. Like, that just seems to be gone. But Spencer Rattler, yet again, another week to where New Orleans Saints fans cannot point at their quarterback and say he is the reason that they are losing football games, because you scramble, you duck under the tackle, you get the first at the 2-minute warning, and then Rattler, again, putting a ball right in Juwan Johnson's hands for the touchdown. He does hold on. He survives the ground. I'm still upset about that drop in week one. Clearly, you guys know that. We literally have an opportunity to win the game. But guess what? We had an opportunity to win this week too. And like I always say, crazy teams, bad teams, not competent teams always find a way to lose. And then, you got some more mental mistakes. I mean, illegal hands to the face after you come out and force a 3-and-out to open the second half. Like, that was vintage Saints football. No place like New Orleans to come out of the half, have a 3-and-out forced on the team, and then you want to have a 3rd and 13 that you're up against, get bailed out by illegal hands to the face. And like, bro, Mac Jones started 0-4, and then he ended up going on a stretch of 15 for 20 with 2 passing touchdowns. Like, again, I'm not shocked because of the system that he's in, but Brandon Staley, again, is running this defense, and I don't know. We did have 10 straight completions for Rattler at one point, which was nice. I love the triple option to convert on the 4th down after you force the strip sack. Like, that's how you get momentum. That's how you really get into this one. Kamara continued to get involved in the offense. Speaking of a play with Kamara, I don't know if you saw it. The fumble from Kamara was very odd. Like, since when is someone trying to bring a catch in on the shoulder, on the helmet, chopping their feet, but they still don't have possession? Like, when is that considered having possession? But I mean, nowadays we don't know what a catch is. We don't know what an incomplete pass is. Like, we are constantly having the standards and the goalposts move by the NFL. And I mean, I guess the 3 and 4 steps he took is what the analyst said on the broadcast as to why, they were going to call it a fumble. The Saints had 2 third downs that got turned into first downs between illegal contact and holding on that drive. All of San Francisco's flags actually came in the second half. And you only had 1 flag up until the middle of the 4th quarter, which ended up, working well, in the second half of that one. You go on the 13-play, 70-yard drive. I mean, 70-yard drive, 6.5 minutes. You had great catches by Olave, and then you had the touchdown pass to Vele that made it a 5-point game. But the O-line, again, poor protection. Rattler folded in the pocket when it mattered the most, unfortunately. I'm not going to put that directly on Rattler, though, because this is still a guy who has not won an NFL game, but has put us in an opportunity to win a game 2 weeks in a row now, until you have blitzes dialed up by Robert Saleh, the DC for the Niners, and he just understands that, like, it's going to be Spencer Rattler potentially folding in that pocket. But you have the 2-minute drive. That was a big-time chance for Spencer Rattler and Kellen Moore to show the fans what we got, and we had some quick throws to Olave, quick throws to Kamara. But just like on the drive before, the Niners rushed the edge as well. They collapsed the pocket to eliminate Spencer Rattler's dual threat capability, and he climbs right into the pressure. Unfortunately, folds under it. So it was unfortunate to see. I mean, again, Saints 0-2, probably going to miss the playoffs. We know they're rumored. I'm not even going to say they are. They're rumored to be the worst team in the NFL. I think the Dolphins and maybe the Broncos right now, considering how they looked over 2 weeks, between the Colts and the Titans, would like to hold my beer with those considerations. Is Sean Payton as their head coach? But we'll talk about that another day because we have the Seahawks and the Steelers to get onto. But Saints fans, when you're taking a look at your quarterback right now, you got to be realistic. It's not Jake Haener. Tyler Shuck might not even play this year. And the way that Spencer Rattler's looked over 2 weeks, you cannot look at the quarterback position and say that that is the sole reason we are losing. The defensive coordinator's name is Brandon Staley. And again, I'm week by week, if we come out next week and give up more than 26 or 21 plus, like, we got to have a conversation. We got to have a conversation about the first defensive coordinator hire that our new head coach, who we have praised so much, has come out and made.